Chris's deck. It really is the lubricant that makes it go. It makes it all work better.
All right, so Pete will suspend an Ancestral Visions.
Yeah, and Chris's hand really powerful. Snapcaster, Jace, Snapcaster, Swords. Really strong hand, but
nothing really to play.
Yeah, it's lacking for the turn 2. He would love to play a Liliana or a Geister Saint draft right now, or even a Brainstorm or a Ponder.
You think there's any reason right there to play out? I'm sorry, to actually attack with a Deathray Shaman? I mean, he just didn't deal damage there.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Did Pete Ingram forget to take a counter off his Ancestral Visions right there?
It looks like he did. I was going to say something, and then he moved it over to the right, and I think that's why he moved it over to the right.
Yeah, I think so too. It used to be with the suspend cards that you had to take the counter off, even if you forgot. It would be missed and put on the stack right there.
And you would just receive a warning for making that play mistake. But now, because of the mistrigger rule, that's going to really hurt Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mistake you don't really want to make when it comes to Ancestral Visions.
Especially when your opponent has a Jace.
Yeah. A turn 3 Jace. Peter's going to have to force this.
No, he doesn't have another blue card.
Wow. Maybe it makes me think, hey, if you're going to miss taking the counters off of Visions, maybe you hold that Visions for the force right?
Yeah, if Pete could go back, I'm sure he'd hold that Visions. Yep. But Chris resolves this Jace.
Ooh, and he abrupt decays. Wow. Only if he abrupt decayed during Chris's, upkeep or something, or during Pete's turn.
Right. That's really weird line of play from Pete Ingram here, and it's going to end up costing him because this resolved Jace. I've said it before. A resolved Jace in Legacy, if you get to untap with that,
it's very tough to lose.
Yeah, 98% to win that game.
Yeah, I want to say 98. I mean, if you're playing against a combo deck, it's probably about 30% or so. But yeah, if you're playing against another matchup,
if you untap with the Jace, it's usually over.
Well, Chris will Brainstorm here. Let's see. His hand's really good.
Yeah, he has effectively 2 Swords to Plowshares with the Snapcaster Mage. He has a backup Jace in case Pete can deal with 2 backup Jaces.
I don't see a Swords to Plowshare.
Oh, he must have put it back.
No, I think he never had it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that white bordered card?
I'm not sure what the white border card was, but I think his hand is just Jace, Snap, and like lands,
Right.
But because he has sack land next turn, he's able to, really shuffle away the weak cards.
Interesting. Is his plan just to let this Jace die here or chump block?
Yeah, I think he wants to try to chump block. Let's see if Pete has anything to stop it. No, it doesn't. Just going to throw away the Snapcaster.
Yeah, Pete's hand is pretty weak. It looks like he kept on the back of being up a game, on the back of Ancestral Visions.
Sure. All right. So Pete didn't forget Visions again, did he?
No, he didn't.
You sure?
I
was looking at you for a second.
4 has 1 counter removed. He might have forgotten it again.
I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could tweet in.
I think Pete's a little flustered here. I think he realizes he made
Zach and I were so busy debating if that was a Swords to Plowshare in his hand. So
here's the Vindicate.
Probably just hit that Goyf. Apparently so. Okay, so it's been confirmed again. Pete Ingram missed a second Ancestral Visions trigger.
Wow, Grand Prix top 8er Pete Ingram, little loosey-goosey here, up a game.
All right, so Pete will sack that Misty Rainforest.
And yeah, CVM complete control of this game. Even if Pete Ingram deals with the first 3 Jaces, Chris has a 4th in for backup. So
4 Jaces is tough to beat.
Yep.
All right, so there's that breeding pool.
He has a breeding pool though. That's something. And 2 counters on Visions. We're getting there.
All right, so Pete will draw for the turn. And it's another Misty Rainforest. Yeah, Pete's draw has been pretty bad so far. And Chris's draw has been pretty good so far.
Yeah. Really strong. CVM, another Snapcaster Mage. He could flash back a Vindicate in a couple turns if he wants to.
A lot of lands for Chris.
Chris has plenty of fetches, though, so he's not going to have any shortage of a clear top of the deck. And
there's a Flood of Strands.
Let's see if he goes for the second Jace here. What do you think?
No, not yet.
No.
Maybe after M14 rules.
Sure.
There could be some argument there. But,
yeah.
But for now, no way.
Jace holding hands with Jace on your side of the battlefield.
Yep. All right. So Pete will go fetch up an Underground Sea. Now, a lot has happened, but both players still have a lot of life left.
Yeah, they really do. And if I'm Pete Ingram, if I can't make something really cool happen after that Ancestral Visions resolves, I'm conceding to go to a Game 3 because they're only going to have 15-ish minutes left for a potential Game 3.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Pete is fine with this. He knows the Visions is going off next turn. And there's a Shardless Agent, so we'll see what he hits. There's a Force. Oh, there's a Visions. That's going to help a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Chris can't do anything to stop that. No Force of Wills, no counterspells at all.
All right. So Pete draws a Pulse, he draws another land, and he draws a Thoughtseize, which I think he's going to play right now, and he's not going to really like to see what's in Chris's hand.
No, Thoughtseize taking Snap... Well, actually, Chris will probably respond with a Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah, I think he will.
Just to get the Ambush Viper mode activated, a blocker for that Shardless.
Yeah, just because he has so many Jaces.
Oh, no, he doesn't even respond. Wow.
All right. Well, if I'm Pete here, I think Pete's thinking the same thing. You think he wants to take a Snapcaster Mage?
Yeah, even though the Snapcaster can only really hit kind of unimpressive Vindicate.
No, I mean, it's good. He has 5 mana.
Yeah, it is.
So, and he does just that, takes the Snapcaster Mage. Pete will just pass the turn. I think end step VanMeter's probably going to sack that Flooded Strands.
Yeah, he has 2 useless lands on top. He'll be cracking that, get a fresh look with a Jace Brainstorm. He'll see 4 new cards this turn.
All right. So the whole thing with Esper Deathblade, and the reason why I kind of stopped liking it, was that it didn't really play any counters. It didn't really play too many ways to interact with your opponent. Play some discard spells, but sometimes a discard spell is less impressive than a counter. So I actually added a couple of Dazes and a couple of Spell Pierces to my Esper Deathblade deck, and I've been liking that a bit more.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, Esper Deathblade, a new-ish archetype, and there's a lot of room for innovation.
All right, Chris will Brainstorm once again. And not sure what he picked up here, but it looks like not as many lands as before.
Right, so Chris finally going to put back a Jace. He's finally hit some real spells. 3 will be just fine for this game.
Yeah, and they both have to be worried about time. Chris more so. Since Pete is up a game, Pete could actually win the match 1-0-1, which will give him the 3 points. However, if Chris doesn't win this game, he's going to lose the match 0-1-1.
Right, so Chris has to at least win this game, so you kind of see it in the urgency of his play here. He's playing pretty fast. He knows that the time is against him.
All right, there's Hamza Torok.
Yep, and Pete does not have a blue card to remove to Force of Will. He has a Force, a Pulse, and 3 lands, I believe.
So they'll roll. So the 2 cards furthest to the right, and it's just 2 lands.
Yep, so perfect for Pete Ingram. He doesn't need any more lands this game. He's got plenty.
Yeah, again, that's another reason why discard spells sometimes are less impressive. Sometimes you have the Torok, and you only get 2 lands where your opponent has so many lands. It's pretty much just a discard your own card.
Right.
Torok was just 2 mana, just do nothing.
Yeah. Chris is going to finish off his turn with what looks to be a Baleful Strix. He'll cycle, he'll get a little board presence, and cantrip.
All right, so there it is.
Yep, that's
2 copies of Baleful Strix in the sideboard.
Yeah, an interesting card to have in your sideboard. It's usually like a main deck or nothing card.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Chris wanted a little more defense. His sideboard has 2 Supreme Verdict, 2 Baleful Strix.
Okay, that definitely makes sense. So that Ancestral Visions finally goes off.
Yeah, there it goes.
Ancestral Visions, 1 mana, suspend 6.
7 even.
All right, so there's a Thoughtseize. No, it was only twice. So yeah, 6, yeah. All right, there's a Thoughtseize. What do you take here? I think it's pretty easy. You got to take the Stoneforge.
Yeah, he can Maelstrom Pulse the Jace and Thoughtseize the Jace, get Chris down to only 1 Jace, but even so, actually he has Force of Will,
he has
too.
Force now, yeah.
So
he drew the second Force, which could be used for the blue card. So I think what Pete is thinking here, hey, if I get rid of that Stoneforge, he's going to go for the Jace.
Potentially he could destroy all 3 Jaces with Maelstrom Pulse, Thoughtseize, and Force of Will, leaving Chris with only Stoneforge and Baleful Strix.
Maybe that's a line he wants to take?
Yeah, I think he should.
Yeah, okay. I guess it's because of the Abrupt Decay. He's saying, you know what? You could go get a Batterskull.
Right.
I'll just Abrupt Decay the Stoneforge. You have to try to hard cast the Batterskull and kind of slow Chris down some more, maybe?
Yeah, he'll still be in a really large hole because of all the extra cards that the Jace has drawn, but at the same time, he'll be in the game, which is something that it didn't look like he was going to be a few turns ago.
If we stop right here and we just count the number of permanents and the number of cards in your hand, it's pretty much even with Pete and Chris. Chris is only slightly ahead after all those Brainstorms.
Yeah, I think there's four Brainstorms. I guess that's kind of equal to 1 Ancestral Vision.
All right, so there's the Force of Will from Pete. Pete's fighting back.
So Pete down to 13. Baleful Strix is a long way to go, but could get there.
There's Stoneforge Mystic. So what do you get here? Is it pretty obvious Batterskull?
Yeah, with 6 lands in play, you have to go for the Skull.
Yeah, other option is Umazawa's Jitte, but it looks like Chris goes for Batterskull. All right.
The Skull is loose, and Pete is only left with a fetch land and an Abrupt Decay. He needs to draw some gas to deal with that there Batterskull.
Yeah, we'll see what Pete ends up drawing. Both players really thin out their deck a lot with all their sack lands. And most of the damage that has been dealt to both players is from either Force of Will or Sackland or Thoughtseize.
Right.
So,
Ancestral Visions for Pete Ingram, not a great draw right now, but
all right.
if the game goes that long, and right now it looks like it will, he'll be able to draw 3 more cards.
So there's an Abrupt Decay on the Stoneforge Mystic. Do you like that play there or no? It doesn't even do anything at this point.
It's kind of marginal, yeah.
Yeah, because Chris could just hard cast Batterskull. He has so many lands.
Yeah, I would maybe save that Abrupt Decay for a Deathrite Shaman, which at this point has infinite graveyard fodder, has as much as it needs.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Deathrite Shaman, it looks like Chris hit 2 Deathrite Shamans and a Jace.
Yeah, that's great. Wow, what's the best line here? Is it just to slam that Jace?
We'll see.
Probably is. Jace Fate Seal, maybe?
Maybe Jace Deathrite Shaman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a Fate Seal would be very good here.
Yeah, he knows that Pete's out of gas. He knows that he just has to live maybe 1-2 more turns before the Jace gets out of hand.
All right, I don't see how these players can finish a game 3 if it's going to happen.
Yeah, players will have to sideboard maybe a little more aggressively, bring in all their creatures.
Yeah. All right. Does Chris want to leave that on top, or does he want to put it on bottom? All right. He decides to leave it on top, and there's Deathrite Shaman.
Yep, pretty good board for Chris VanMeter.
Yeah.
Pete needs a rip, and he won't find it.
Oh, there's a Deathrite Shaman, and Pete will play his Mystery Rainforest and pass the turn.
And kind of a subtle play from a couple turns ago, Pete Ingram cracked a fetch land at the end of the turn just to thin out his deck. If he still had that fetch land, he could upkeep, shuffle away whatever Chris left on top, maybe get a fresh draw.
Sure, now he only has 1 activation with his lone Mystery Rainforest that he just played last turn.
Right.
All right, Strix comes in for 1. Pete should fall down to 10. And there's a chance to crack that Mystery Rainforest, so he might be down to 9 already. Oh, well, speaking of the life total change, there's a source of plowshare. It's tough to keep track.
Yeah. And here's the skull. Chris VanMeter's board is getting better and better, more and more mythic rares.
All right.
Yep,
And
there's
going
the
to scoop it up right there. What did Chris do with the Jace that turn?
Brainstorm, I believe. Or forgot to use it.
Yeah. I don't know. These players are playing really quick.
Chris knew that he had that game absolutely locked up. He just wants enough time to finish because a draw this early in the tournament, not too great, especially since it puts you in the draw bracket, in the control bracket, which makes you even more likely to pick up another draw.
Yeah, Chris did Brainstorm before anything on turn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how he was able to go plow and then also play out his whole entire hand.
Right. Now, if Chris didn't side in the Meddling Mages for that game, he has to side him in for game 3 because he only has 13 minutes to deal 20 points of damage.
So you think he'll just try to go very aggressive here?
I think both players should, yeah.
Sometimes you go aggro just with a Jace, and you can just go plus, and then it might get to a point where one player is facing down a ultimate Jace, and even if the game doesn't end in time, they might just concede because if the game were to go another 2 or 3 minutes, they would lose.
Right.
But here, a draw is probably fine here. 7-1-1 should be looking pretty good for top 8.
It's fine, but it's not what either of these players should want. It's in both their best interest to have a winner decided. Yep. A draw is 2 points total, a win is 3 points total. So if you just look at it numerically, they really want to decide a winner here.
All right, so both players piling out their deck. Looks like they're going to present within the next minute or so. So they'll probably have about 10 minutes plus 5 additional turns to play out the game, which they could finish. It seems unlikely, though. Yeah,
they definitely could. I mean, the game 1, they played a little more deliberately. Chris especially with the ponders and the brainstorms, and they've both sped up a lot. So I think they could.
Yeah, there's some cards go flying across the table.
Uh-oh, Pete knows Chris didn't side out Stoneforge.
Yeah, sometimes I actually do sideboard out Stoneforge. Do you think other players take the line as well, or no?
No, I've seen almost nobody side out Stoneforge. In what matchups do you like to side it out?
I'm not really too sure, but if I think they're going to bring in a bunch of artifact hate,
okay.
I mean, especially against combo, I've been siding out Stoneforge. I think that's pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, you could side out Stoneforge. If you think they're going to be bringing in hate, you could say side down to 2 Stoneforge and 1 Batterskull. Take out the Jita entirely. That way, if they do have something like an Ancient Grudge, it can't hurt you all that much.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes I think that the 2 theories is to either overload on artifacts or take out all of them.
Right.
That's usually how it is. All right, so this time Pete Ingram will be on the play.
Yep, and these players a little over 11 minutes left here.
Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. They're chit-chatting. They don't want to play. They're like, hey, you got plans tonight? Want to go hang out or do something fun?
BBD, you see him there behind CVM. two go to almost every Star City Open together. Just they're always on the tour together.
Yeah, it's like Batman and Robin. I don't know who's Batman and who's Robin, but
That's not to ask.
Yeah. All right. So Pete with a polluted Delta. Chris will sack his Marsh Flats and bust out a Deathrite Shaman. Looks like he's going to resolve here. I think Pete will immediately abrupt decay it though.
Yeah, it's such an important card. He can't let Chris have this mana advantage.
I'm really surprised we don't see much Lightning Bolt in the format. Besides for Rug Delver, there's not many decks that play Lightning Bolt.
No, not really. It's pretty much trumped by Swords to Plowshares. Even Innocent Blood is pretty common. Dismember.
Sure.
Not many bolts.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt is just a good card though.
It is. In these decks usually aren't trying to reach the opponent though.
Yeah. I mean, you can always kill a Deathrite or a Stoneforge though.
Yeah.
So, all right, just about 10 minutes left. Pete Ingram plays an Underground Sea, and he goes for a Hemta Turok. I think I would have taken out that Deathrite Shaman. I would be afraid of a really fast draw with, say, a Saint Draft.
Yeah, I think he's hoping to hit it here. He's rolling the dice, literally, here. He wants to hit a Geist. He wants to hit a Liliana.
Sure, let's see.
He wants to hit a Jace.
There's a 3. So he's going to hit a Flooded Strands and a Thoughtseize. There you see Hemta Turok. Multiple different pictures of Hemta Turok. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 different pictures.
4 pictures, yeah. I think for most of the commons in that set, they did 4.
Yeah, I like the one with the wolf on it, the 2 wolves. So Chris now is probably going to play a Stoneforge Mystic, or he might just so he's going for a Thoughtseize. Okay.
Oh, well, I see. So he removed Pete's fetch land to cast that Thoughtseize. He should follow up with Stoneforge if he has another land.
No, he doesn't though. That's the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here he probably has to take Tarmogoyf and hope for a draw, just because taking Abrupt Decay or Mouse Repulse is kind of useless.
Right, and since Pete has the Thoughtseize, Chris knows that the sword's in his hand. It's not going to resolve if Pete wants it to.
Ooh, so he's going to take the Thoughtseize. Okay.
That's a good line too. He keeps the contents of his hand hidden. He keeps the swords for his for Pete's Tarmogoyf, trying to remain at creature parity here.
Sure. So now Chris will pass a turn, and Pete draws another land. So it doesn't look kind of confusing how he has the deck box the same as the sleeves. So I'm thinking, why is he drawing off his second deck?
So Abrupt Decay comes down on that Deathrite, and all Pete can do is pass the turn.
He needed to draw land there. Instead, he draws a Jace Bellerin.
Really ugly for Chris, but lucky for him, Pete's cracking his fetches. He's searching for creatures. He doesn't have any, though. Only that Tarmogoyf, which will get swords.
He's going to try to play as quick as possible here. Hope to find a threat. And he draws, and it's a Liliana. Liliana's a threat, but not a threat that will deal damage, and it doesn't do too much against one permanent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll separate 2 piles.
1 and 1.
There's the Goyf, but that's going to get plowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chris can't really afford to play around Daze here. He just has to go for the plowed end of turn, I think.
Charlotte's Bug doesn't play any Dazes.
Yeah, almost never.
Doesn't play any Spell Piercers. The reason being because of Charlotte's Agent.
Right.
You want to play Charlotte's Agent. You don't want to hit a counter spell and just not get value off it. The only counter spell Shardless Bug could really play is Force of Will.
Yeah. So here comes Liliana. Pete drew a really great card this turn. He drew Brainstorm. He has the fetch land for next turn. So Pete Ingram tightening the noose here. He's trying to
I don't know what Liliana does here though. I think I would have rather brainstormed and maybe even shuffled away the Liliana.
Right. He didn't even use the Liliana.
Yeah.
CVM finally with the second source. He can play the Stoneforge if he wants to.
Yeah, I think Chris wants to get a Tundra or any blue source, so he's able to get closer to that Jace Bellerin.
Right.
If there's a card that's going to pull him out of the game, it's Jace. Whether it be Jace Bellerin or Jace the Mind Sculptor, Jace is going to help Chris win this game. And this is what he's doing right here. He's thinking, both players closing in on 5 minutes right here. There's a Stoneforge Mystic that's going to resolve, and it looks like Chris is going to get an Umezawa's Jitte.
So the Jitte is still in his deck, it looks like. Didn't side that one out. So Chris will have more fodder for Liliana if Pete ever decides to +2 it.
Sure. All right, Pete draws. It's a Hemta Turok.
Okay, not bad. Doesn't do a heck of a lot. Chris has 3 Jaces in hand, so he can't really rob him of all of them with the Hem.
Yeah, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Jace Bellerin.
Right.
So here comes a Hem. They're going to roll. They're going to see what's going on. 1 to 5. Looks like 5, 1 to 4, reroll on 6, reroll on 6, 1.
So Jace, G-Tag. Not so bad. Chris would way rather discard a Mind Sculptor, but he's happy to hit the G-Tag.
Sure. All right. Pete will -2 on a Liliana. Chris will have to sacrifice a Stoneforge Mystic. Chris draws a Brainstorm.
Great
Pretty
draw.
good draw.
And fetch land? Fetch land? That's what he needs here.
1, 2, 3.
Did he hit? Oh, that's
Is that a
Caracas. Yeah. Not
right.
so bad, though. He has a Thoughtseize. He has a Sword. So while he's going to have a couple turns of dead draws,
Yeah.
he at least gets a couple spells he can cast.
He will be stuck on 3 for, you're right, about 2 or 3 turns when he really wants to hit 4 mana.
Right.
So there's a Thoughtseize, and Pete's definitely going to respond with this Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3.
Oof, Shardless Ancestral.
Oh, wow, that's really good. That's a really good setup by Pete. Pulse will get discarded. Pete will not sack that fetch land because he knows what's on top of his deck.
Right, so Caracas comes down for CVM. 3 lands, but not quite enough.
All right, and there's that Visions. Now, do you think you would sacrifice your fetch land with the Visions on stack or no?
He didn't know any cards beneath that, right?
Yeah, but just to thin out the deck, especially that he has another sack land.
No, I don't think so. I think the sack lands are just too valuable to do that.
Because of Brainstorm?
Yeah, he doesn't even hate drawing a land that much.
Really? I think he does, to be honest.
With Brainstorms in his deck, it's not so bad. With the Liliana in play, it's not so bad.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. I think that's the play that could have also been made, but, you know, they
Yeah.
are playing very quickly.
Right.
They're down to 4 minutes.
Right, with such a marginal decision, Pete Ingram's so far ahead, such a marginal decision, I don't even think he thought about it.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely fair. All right, so Chris will just pass the turn with that Jace stuck in his hand. Oh, there it is, the Creeping Tar Pit.
Yep.
That's exactly what he needs.
That gives Pete a win condition.
Yeah.
Now Chris just has to discard these 2 Jaces 2 turns in a row.
Ooh, that was kind of risky.
Yeah, loose play there by Pete Ingram, but he's not going to get punished for it.
Yeah, let's see if Pete makes the same play next turn and Chris gets rewarded with the Swords to Plowshare. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, CVM draws a Marsh Flats.
All right. So let's see. Again, 3 damage with that Creeping Tar Pit.
Yep, Chris down to 8, 3 turns left.
All right, this is exciting. What's going to happen? Chris draws. Ooh. Could you make out what it was?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Not a land, not a Jace.
Let's see. Maybe it's a plow. Looks like Chris is tapping. I'm sorry, Pete's tapping. Oh, there's a Notion Thief.
Is this main phase Notion Thief?
Yeah.
Okay, because of the Liliana, I see.
Oh, there's a Snapcaster
Ooh,
Mage.
nice.
And then he's going to plow the Notion Thief. Yeah.
So pretty good sequence there for Chris. Chris is going to get to keep that Liliana off ultimate.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can rip right here. He needs something like a Jace.
That was really key.
Yeah, that was great for Chris.
Yeah.
Brainstorm?
Oh, Ponder.
Okay.
Wow.
Really good too.
There's a Strix and a Stoneforge.
Yeah, Stoneforge, not that good here.
Won't get anything. There's a Wasteland, but that's really good.
Yeah.
Wasteland, that Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, Chris is in okay shape.
Strix into Wasteland seems very good right here.
Oh, but he can't cast both because he would need to sacrifice.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
So I think he has
Caracas.
to put the Wasteland first. Wasteland, the Creeping Tar Pit, then draw.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what Chris does.
That's not so bad. He still keeps that Baleful Strix on top. He'll get a clock, some fodder for Liliana. Chris might be able to force a draw here.
Yeah, just 2 minutes left. All right, Ancestral Visions will go off next turn.
Right.
There's a Strix. Now, do you want to draw the Stoneforge?
It looks like he does. I think.
Does he have anything left in his sideboard? Could he have boarded in another piece of equipment?
Well, he still has the Batterskull left in his deck. I don't think he's gone through that one yet. Or did that get discarded?
Yeah, I believe the Batterskull got discarded.
Well, that's kind of surprising. I guess he just really needs that 1/2 to deal with the Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah,
And
see, the Batterskull was discarded earlier on in the game, so. All right, Visions is going off. 1, 2, 3,
Oof.
4. Wow, that was really good. Abrupt Decay, Pulse, Goyf.
Yeah, tons of gas from Pete Ingram. Tarmogoyf is a gigantic creature. Maybe not 1 hit, but definitely 2.
Yeah, it might be 1. There is Planeswalker in the yard.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, we'll see. And the Strix is going to the yard as well. What did VanMeter draw?
Oh, wow.
Vindicate. Wow.
He has no counters in his deck. He has to let that resolve. Abrupt Decay on Strix.
All right. There's a Brainstorm. This is odd.
A little bit of a loose Brainstorm here.
Yeah.
Pete Ingram's going to be forced to draw one of these less good cards here.
Yep. All right. So he'll pass. These players playing at lightning fast pace.
Yeah, Pete Ingram really needs to find a Creeping Carpet, Tarmogoyf, even something like a Deathrite Shaman should be able to get it done in extra turns.
Pete is playing 2 copies of Creeping Tarpon, so he has 1 left in his deck.
CVM finds a Jace and a Hymn to Torok off of his Brainstorm. Oh, there it is. CVM,
There
Jace.
it is. Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Brainstorm.
All of a sudden, Chris might take this game. Let's see.
Yeah, Pete Ingram had to play so fast to try and win. He let CVM back into this game.
Yeah, now Chris has to play really fast.
Yeah, he does.
Just go for the Fates here.
Wow,
He
he's
has
doing
to.
it.
Yeah.
They have 30 seconds left on the clock here.
He has to decide quick. Just put. If you're unsure, put it on the bottom.
Yeah, I don't think Chris knows how little time he has left.
Yeah, exactly. 20 seconds.
Great match here of Legacy.
It really is. Back and forth, back and forth. It was actually all in Pete's favor for the most part. Then all of a sudden, Chris started coming back.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, the onus was on Pete to try and win before time was up.
Yeah, but now Chris is trying to win.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now there's no way Chris can win with damage. It looks like before time ends with the extra turns. But
Right.
it looks like it might just be a draw.
I think so. We're gonna
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're in extra turns right now. Chris is only going to have a couple more turns to make a move, but I can't really see what he could do.
Right. This is turn 2, and the reason that the timer on top wasn't quite accurate was that these players had a little extra time from being in the feature match area, from having to set up and things like that.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. You might have heard the announcement about 5 minutes ago when the judge called time in the round. These
Right.
guys do get slightly extra time, but now they are in extra turns.
Right. So this is turn 3. Pete Ingram. This is his turn 3 here. Chris will get one more turn. Pete will get one last turn.
All right, and it's just pretty much a showdown. Liliana and Jace. I think if they have more time, Chris is probably favored here.
I think so. It'll be interesting to see how the end of round works out. If these two players are friends, if one will concede to the other, or
I think both players will just take a draw here. That's definitely my guess.
The draw's not too bad. X11 should make top 8.
Yeah, as long as you don't get your draw too early. At the last Legacy Open I played in DC, I was 6-1-1 going into the last round, and I ended up not making it on breakers.
Wow.
I couldn't have made it yet, so we'll see what happens here. All right. Chris puts it on the bottom. Jace is on 7. Pete sacks his Misty Rainforest for good measure. Thin out that deck a bit. All right, fetches up his second breeding pool.
So here comes turn 5 of extra turns.
There should be turn 5, so Chris is going to shuffle it up for one last time. Pete draws, and he's going to make Chris sacrifice another Deathrite Shaman. He had Chris sack his Deathrite Shaman. Here's my Deathrite Shaman.
Right.
Chris is going to sack his Flooded Strands. I think that might have been turn 5.
Yeah, maybe Chris gets one more turn here. Often hard to communicate with the table judge
Exactly.
in real time, so we'll see how many extra turns we have.
Yeah, let's see. This is turn 5?
Yep, this is Chris. This is turn 5 of extra turns here. We just got some confirmation.
Okay. I think they're discussing right now. Chris is saying he would have wanted there was more time. I don't know if Pete is, he might say yeah, so we'll see what happens.
It's always a hard argument to have because with no time or with no time limit, Pete would have played a lot differently.
Yeah,
that
definitely,
game
yeah.
too. So it's kind of a moot point conversation to have.
Yeah, so it's a draw. It's official.
Yep.
All right, both players 3-0-1, and both players look